So anyway, just want to introduce the family real quick. This is my wife, Kristen. We've been married for 8.5 years, and we'll go in order, Israel. He is 7 years old. And then we have Ethan. He's 5. And then we have Nejma, who's 4 now. Said on the slideshow 3, and then 2.5 for Genoa. And I said that I wouldn't keep them very long, so you guys can go back to your seat. So, thank you. If you want, you don't have to. You can sit down. It's okay. So, once we get past the introduction of the family, did you have anything you wanted to say? Okay. Just wanted to give you a little look into the heart of our family. There's always been a deep care and concern for the poor, needy, homeless, and children of the world. God, as well as our parents, installed in both Kristen and I compassion. We are striving to cultivate this compassion in our children as well, to raise them as a difference makers, not just to go with the flow of today's world and just to be that next person to actually just make a difference in the world. So, and not just to watch people go on by, to actually have an eye for a need. And we try and raise our children to see that. And we're learning it ourselves as we go. So recently, I think it was mid last year, so not that recent, we led a marriage group at our house for our church. And one of the questions that was asked is, what first attracted you to your spouse? And we were just astonished. And we found out that both of our answers were when we were on a missions trip in North Africa, which was Morocco, before we were in love, before we were married. And we both saw how we each handled the children. And that was pretty powerful, just because both of us growing up, we always just wanted a family. A lot of people might strive for, I'm going to get that top career, that top job and everything, and I'm going to just keep going in life. And the only thing we ever wanted was a family. So God brought us together. He's brought us a long way since then. We've been married, as it said, May 28th, 2005. And we currently obviously have 4 beautiful children. And some people have asked us, well, why would you adopt? And a lot of people even mention you have the perfect family. 2 boys, 2 girls. Why would you want to mess with that? So, but this has been something that's been on our hearts since before we were married. Growing up, we both always wanted big families, not knowing how many that would mean, just wanting to have a family, period. God has brought Kristen and I together for this calling to raise children in a way that is pleasing to Him, to teach them to love and obey God's word. Although we have not been perfect in this way, we continue to go against the grain of what today's secular world might share on how to parent. We still believe that the order is God the Father rules over the parents, and the parents rule over the children. Children do not rule the house. So back to the question, why would we adopt? After having 4 of our own, we felt like we were done with having children, but God had a different plan in mind. He began to work on our hearts and helped me to overcome the thoughts of not being able to provide the means to transport and to feed more children. I remember one day I was just sitting there watching all the kids playing in the living room, and that was when it first became a reality, and just in my spirit, and it just felt like there's more upstairs, just taking a nap. Didn't feel full, didn't feel complete. So we began to pray and seek God and ask for direction. And we didn't really want to go through the pregnancy thing again, so we said, hey, we've always had this on our heart. Let's go for it. Why not? But the biggest obstacle in my mind, as I said earlier, was how are we going to transport them? Because we have a van that's just big enough, and if we get another kid, then we would have to go buy a new vehicle. And as far as feeding them, that wasn't a worry of mine. God's always provided our needs in that way. So I just happened to be browsing on Craigslist because our van happened to have a check engine light on it, and we were going to probably have to get a new one anyway. So I was on Craigslist, and what pops up? A 12-passenger van for a very affordable price. So we ended up purchasing that van, and that eliminated that obstacle of, hey, I can't transport these kids. Because in my mind, I was thinking, let's limit it to, I was going to have to spend $8,000 to $10,000 on a new van and be able to move them around. And God had a different plan in mind. We did not get a new van. We got a different van. So you can see it out in the parking lot. It's pretty awesome. It's the A-Team van, I call it. So anyway, that, like I said, eliminated the obstacle in my mind as far as continuing on, because we had the money for it, and we're just like, all right, let's do this thing. So even though I know that God is the God of impossible, I still have this side in me that tries to tell me that the impossible can't be done. But God has proven over and over and over again that it's wrong to doubt him, because he has come through for us, whether we're faithful, whether we're not. He's always provided for all of our needs above and beyond. So we're not a family that makes a ton of money, but God provides our needs. So, and we're comfortable. We have a nice warm home, and we enjoy it. And he provides lots of deer. So that was awesome. Thank you, Pastor John. So anyway, there's obviously a lot of funds that needs to be raised in this process. The agency that we went with has told us that it's supposed to be about 25 to 30,000, and I'm probably realistically more thinking like 35 to 40 from other people that I've spoken to, but that's still a small number in God's eyes. So we are currently going through an agency called Grace International. Says that in the slideshow that we chose the Ukraine, but actually the Ukraine kind of chose us, to be honest with you. The agency, they asked for information, financial information, and we gave them all of that, and they said that they felt like the Ukraine was the best fit for our family. So we said, okay, we're cool with that. We weren't picky. So we're going off of a referral that my cousin and his wife, they went through the same agency. They said that they recommended that. They've had three adoptions total. So they recommended that one out of all three for us to use. So we went ahead with that. So we are currently applied for a sibling group. And what's that means is we're going for 2 or 3 kids. And you're like, whoa! Okay. Yeah. But it just didn't feel right in my spirit to go for just one, because, I feel that that's what most people go for. They're like, I'm just going to go for one. We're going to try and tackle that. So we felt that the greater need was for the sibling group to keep siblings together, and that's our goal. So, so that's what we're doing, and we have currently a Facebook page that gives you guys updates, that we try and put updates on there. So if you would follow us on it's Bringing Home the Ukraine Project. And I figured I'd just, not make it any longer. Otherwise, I was going to have to make a paragraph for the title. So, but, so yes, we could have done just one. But like I said, we felt the greater need was for the sibling group. And we don't want to limit God's plan in our family. And just trying to find my spot here. I kind of wandered off. So right now we are in the middle of our home study and beginning stages of the dossier. So we're kind of like almost at the end of the home study, and the dossier is the home study that goes to the international side of things. So we just have to pray that God gives the lady doing the home study the right words to type in, so that way there aren't any red flags or whatever, because, I mean, it's all on how they word it. So the reason for this adoption is not to just add to our family. That is just a bonus that comes along. My main thought that I had, and it was confirmed from our dear brother of ours, that's Bart Willoughby. He spoke at our concert, our benefit concert, and he just confirmed with us that we're not going to be raising these children to make them Americans. We really want to keep them familiarized with their background and keep them speaking their language, and we're going to try and learn, and that way they can hopefully feel the God's call to go back to their homeland and actually share with their families and friends and people that they would know and relate to. So, but I hope that this explains what our reasons and desires are in this journey. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask us after church or contact us on the Facebook group. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So we appreciate it. God bless. Thank you.